So this is in my audience manager. So here I can see all of my audiences that I've created before, and I've seen quite a few of them there are saved audiences. Some are custom, some are lookalike. Yours will have the same layout, and this is in Business Manager. So this is business.facebook.com. That's how I got to my Business Manager. And once I was in there, I'm in the audiences section. So wherever you see your menu, typically that's on the left-hand side. If you go into the audiences section, it will take you here. So we'll just refresh this. This is where you can set up your audiences, and these audiences will be attached to your ad account. So here I'm going to create audiences, and then later on we can choose from all of these whenever I go in to create the ad itself. Okay, so starting point, create audience. This is what we saw earlier. Custom audience, we can pull in a source like Pixel, Instagram account, Facebook page. So if we wanted to choose Facebook page, we then say, okay, pull in. I have access to lots of client different Facebook pages, but I'm just going to choose mine. And then I can say, yeah, I want to target. I could do people who currently like my page, anyone who's engaged, and that's the broadest one. That's what I recommend there. Anyone who visited the page, engaged with the post or an ad, clicked on a call to action button, anyone who saved a page post. But I would like all of those. So this second option is the ideal one. And then I can just name this engaged with Facebook page in last year. I create that audience. And then once it's been created, I have a couple of different steps. I could create a lookalike audience off the back of that. I could create an ad, or I could create another custom audience. So I'm not going to do any of that just for now. Here's that custom audience that I had put together. It's still populating, so we don't know what the size is going to be just yet. But if I did want to quickly create a lookalike off the back of that, I can just tick the box, go in here, create lookalike. It's pulled in my source, and I can decide like how similar I want this lookalike to be compared to the original source. Now, 10% is often just far too broad. You're really moving away from similar characteristics. I tend to keep to 1 to 2%. Maybe go with 2% today. And then I can create that audience, and there's my lookalike audience. Now, my current or my starting audience is still populating, so it's not giving me any data about the size of that just yet. But these have now been created, and I can use them within my ads. The other one to go through is saved. So I'm just going to call this demo. Okay, so this is where I then decide to target people by location. So if I wanted to target people within a specific geographical area, I can do that. And I can maybe bring my targeting right out to within 50 miles. So this is taking in quite a lot of Northern Ireland and a fair bit of the Republic as well. But let's just say if you wanted to reach all of these people here, but you actually didn't ship to the south, you're like, look, I don't deliver to Republic of Ireland. What you could do is then exclude anyone in that location. So now what is happening is anyone who falls into the circle is getting the ad, except those who are in the Republic of Ireland. So all of these people are getting it, but it won't be shown to those in the south. So if you just wanted to target an area specifically, not another one, that's how you can do it. Also, if you just wanted to do all of the UK and Ireland, that's possible. I'm just going to go and include these people again. Okay, so now in terms of location, anyone anywhere in the UK and Ireland will see the ad. Now I'm obviously going to add more filtering down here. But one wee thing is when you're choosing location, you do have a couple of options. You can target people who are living in or who were recently in, or you could just target people specifically who live there. You could target people who were recently there, so that might mean those who are traveling. And then you could specifically target those who are traveling, and that is anyone in this area whose recent location is in that area, but their home is more than 125 miles or 200 kilometres away. Now that's a wee bit harder when you're targeting the whole of the UK and Ireland, because someone could be in London, but they're originally from Dublin. And so I would use that particularly just for smaller areas. It's not really as relevant now because we know travel has decreased so much with COVID. But typically, if I wanted to target people who were residents in that area, I'd go with people living in this area. Okay, so we've chosen location. The next thing we can do is overlay age. So you can decide what age groups you want to target and also genders as well. And then it starts to get more interesting. So we'll just go with the example of the healthy eating ebook that I had earlier. We could start to target people who are interested in healthy eating. So a good starting point is just to search for that thing that you want to target by. So I just typed in healthy eating. I can target people who studied healthy eating. Realistically, they're not going to be interested in my ebook because they probably know more than me because they studied it. So I'm not going to target them. But I will target people who are interested in eating healthy. I'm going to just go again with the same search. And healthy eating and healthy recipes is a really good one. Now, when I've got more than one option chosen, we can get suggestions here. So this little suggestions button is where Facebook's going to say, well, here's other similar areas. So well-being might be something that I want to target, people who are interested in healthy habits. What else? People who are interested in natural foods. I still think I saw more around healthy eating. So I'm just going to go with that again. Healthy eating recipes, yes. Eating healthy food. Yeah, absolutely. Healthyeats.com. Yep. So as I'm making these decisions, at the very top, it's going to tell me how many people fall into this audience. Right now, it's 5.4 million, so it's pretty big. That makes sense. We're targeting the whole of the UK and Ireland. So basically, you can have your detailed targeting here. Now, if I said, actually, I want to target people who eat healthy, but who are also really interested in cooking, like I would assume that that's maybe like a given, but you might have people who like to eat healthy, but they have pre-made meals, etc. We can narrow the audience down, and we can do that here by pressing narrow audience. And then this creates another section. And what we're saying to Facebook is when we run the ad, we want to target people who meet at least one of these criteria, but they also must match at least one from this second box. So I'm going to start off with cooking. So interest in cooking. Let's see if there's anything for cooking healthy. Yeah, there is cooking healthy. So I have something there for slow cooker. Yeah, so now we're saying, okay, Facebook, when you run our ad, people must have at least one of the interests from the top category and at least one of the interests from the bottom category. Now let's see how that changes our audience. It brings it down slightly, but not radically, 4.7 million people. But this is where you can say, well, actually, I want my audience to have this and that. And you can do it again if that was relevant. At the bottom, you can decide if you wanted to include just people who currently like your page who meet this criteria, but that would be very small. And if you wanted to target people similar to those who like your page who meet this criteria, or if you wanted to exclude people who currently like your page. Now, most of the time, I don't actually choose anything from that area because I'm more focused on just letting Facebook find people who fall into the options I've chosen, whether or not they're currently a fan, doesn't really matter. To me, as long as they fall into this targeting. So at this point, I will review my audience and then I can press create saved audience. And there's my demo audience now within my audience manager. So it's a really good idea to come in here as your starting point, create all the audiences that you want to create. And then when you go to ads manager, it's a lot easier for you to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go back into the step where we were talking about the actual Ads Manager platform, because at this stage you'll be going into that with your audiences created in the background. So when you do go into your Ads Manager, one of the first things you have to decide is your campaign objective. And this is really Facebook just saying, well, why are you running your ad? What do you want to get from this? Now, you can only choose one objective, and Facebook have helpfully broken them down into 3 columns: awareness, consideration, and conversion. So if you just wanted to reach new people and let them know about a new product or service, you might decide to do a brand awareness or a reach campaign. If you actually wanted them to consider your offering or your product or service in more detail, you could run a traffic campaign, and that is focused on taking people to your site. Or you could do a lead generation campaign where they maybe sign up for something and give you their email address, or a messages campaign where they then click to message you directly. And then if you have got your product catalog on Facebook and Instagram, you can run conversion ads and catalog sales. Now, if you're not selling products, you can't run these 2, because this is where they do actually take in products like your Facebook catalog products. So let's just say you had a service and you wanted people to sign up for that service. Traffic would probably be your best objective in order to get people to your sign up page on your website. Store traffic is where physical store locations are put into the back end of Facebook, for want of a better expression. And then the ads are encouraging people to actually visit your store. That's not really relevant now in our current times. A lot of stores are closed. But it's really just if you had a large organization with lots of different locations that you would be using the store traffic objective. Okay, so you'll choose one of these going forward. Now, remember the funnel that we need to bear in mind when we're thinking about why we're running the ad. We've got awareness, consideration, and conversion. So awareness here, remember, is trying to reach people who don't yet know you exist. And then you want to get them to move down through that funnel. So if you are running Facebook ads, it might be a good idea to start off with a few brand awareness or reach campaigns, just to really let people know who you are and what you do. And then follow that up with a traffic campaign where you're encouraging them to just go directly to your site. However, in real life, people are typically a bit impatient, me included. So I am very tempted just to run with traffic campaigns straight from the off. And we're actually trialing a catalog campaign to a cold audience. Because this particular business is really focused on generating some sales. So we're going to see how that goes over the next few days. But really, you want to bring them through this funnel. You want to take them down so they have the awareness, they're considering you, and then they are ready to convert. Okay, so I mentioned earlier, you can run multiple ad sets within the one campaign. You can also run as many campaigns at once as you wish. So with your Facebook ad account, you could have campaign 1. So this could be your reopening campaign, telling people we're going to reopen our doors on this date. If you want to sign up to be one of the first to make an appointment or to be one of our first clients, click here. So it could be a traffic campaign. But you might be saying, I wonder if people in Belfast City Centre are going to react better than those who are in Greater Belfast. So ad set 1 is where you set your targeting. This could be all of your Belfast City Centre targeting. And then ad set 2 could be Greater Belfast targeting. Now, you don't have to. You could, of course, just create one audience that combines it all. But I'm just letting you know the options there if you need it. And then within each ad set, you can create more than one ad. So you might think, well, we have a really cool video we did recently. Let's run that as an ad. But we also have some good images. So I'm going to do a carousel. And then also we have got customer testimonials. Let's do a campaign with that. So this is the structure that you can work from. So you also need to have a think about that before you go into your ads manager account. Now, it would probably take a half day or a full day to go through and build all of this out. So I'm not going to do that today. I'll just show you how to create campaign, ad set, and then ad. Now, one thing that's really helpful to have installed in the back end is your Facebook pixel. So your Facebook pixel is a little bit of tracking code that you can create within your Facebook Business Manager, and then you apply that to your website. So the pixel is needed for your custom audience, where we saw that you were targeting, I'm just going to jump down to this, where you were targeting website visitors. You need the pixel. That's how they get the data here. So it's really, really useful to have. The other reason for having your pixel is you get a lot of insights about how people then interacted with your site. So the pixel will record how people viewed your ad and then went through to the site. So it will tell you if people viewed pages on your site, if they added items to the cart, if they filled in contact forms, and if they then converted and made a purchase. So it's a little bit like your Google Analytics, but it's giving you this data within Facebook. So it's something that I personally really recommend having set up. Now there is, sorry, that's jumping about. There's a lot of help you can get to set it up if you haven't done so already. You have lots of articles here within Facebook for Business on how to create and install a Facebook pixel. But I'm just going to show you that within the account. So if you've not done it yet, this is how you can set it up. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my business home. And I'm in my Digital by Emma account here. And if I go into business settings, that's normally a really good protocol. This is really good to start off with. From here, I can see everything within my account. And I can find my pixel under data sources. So here under data sources, you'll see it says pixels. And I can see the pixels within my account. Now, if I wanted to go in and look at this within Events Manager, I can do so. So here I get to see information about my pixel. And from this here one, I can see that, so this is my demo pixel I've got set up here. And what I need to do is, so I've already set this up to show you how it works, but you would, once you come in here, if there's nothing here, you can go through and create, and this button would say create pixel. Okay, so you obviously just name it to start with. And then the whole process of getting your pixel set up, you can select a connection method, either Conversions API, and this would work directly with your server, or you can go through and use your pixel to collect data from your site. And that's what we're going to do here. And then we've got two options about how you can install the pixel code on your website. So one is manually install the code. So if we were to do this, this is giving us pixel code that we can copy, and then we paste that into the website. Now, personally, I'm not a developer. I don't exactly know how to do that on the site itself. Now, it is relatively easy. We can paste it in beside the head tag. But this is where I'd probably just drop the email to the web developer and go, hi, can you install this code within the head tag and screenshot this page as well as copying the code? And that way I am not editing my HTML or my code and messing things up. So that can be one way to do it. Now, there is another way. So we could use a partner integration. So here's where we can go in and decide which partner is going to be applicable. So let's say if it is a WordPress site, we can choose WordPress as a partner. If it is a Shopify site, if you're selling online through your WordPress, you might want to go with WooCommerce. If it's Squarespace or Wix, you can find the connection for that. So mine is on WordPress. And what it's going to do is actually just give me a plugin that I will upload into my website. And that's how I'm getting the code onto my site. So it's showing me here, click on plugins, add new, choose Facebook for WordPress. So this is the one I would be looking for. And then I would install that and then I will activate it. So it's actually getting me to install that plugin on my site itself. And then I'm going to connect it to my Facebook account here. So you can do it manually or you can do it via that setup, whatever is the most useful for you. But then once it is set up in here, you're going to get a lot of great data. You're going to get loads of really fantastic info. So I just want to show you what it will look like whenever you have got it set up. Okay, so here is the pixel tracking visitors to the website. Underneath this, it's telling me about page views, how many of those have happened on the site, how many content views there have been, how many adds to cart. Now we can see here, I think there's, a slight issue with the code on the add to cart one, and it tells me if there is an issue, so we can look at that and fix it. We can see how many people have initiated checkout, contacted, purchased, submitted application, etc. And this is just tracking 24/7. So if there's something that doesn't look right or something that needs fixed or addressed, it will let us know. We can then go and see, is that an issue? Is there something wrong? Do we need to update it? But this is tracking interaction over time. And I noticed there on the 8th of April, there was a big, massive jump in interaction. And that's because this particular business was on TV. So they featured on UTV, and that obviously generated a lot of interest. So therefore, there were quite a lot of website visits then. And also they posted about it on social media and included a website link. So that's why there was so much traffic over that particular time frame. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is move into Ads Manager, and I'm then going to navigate through and show you how you can set up an ad. Okay, so we're in Ads Manager. We can see any previous campaigns that have been running and any which are currently live. That's the demo one, so I'm going to turn that off. And once we're in here, we've got the ability to create a new campaign. Okay, so I'm going to go with create, and that's our starting point. And then this is where we choose one of the objectives that I'd mentioned before. And for this here, I don't actually sell products. I don't have a catalog here with Digital by Emma. There's lots of client accounts that do, but with this one, I'm just going to take you through under my account. I'm going to show you how you can set up a traffic campaign to get visits to your website, because that's probably one that most people will benefit from. Okay, so traffic campaign, I've chosen that. Then we can name our campaign. So we would give it a name, and we would go, I'm going to say demo campaign April 2021. And then I also apply that name to the ad set and to the ad itself. So here's the 3 layers: campaign, ad set, and ad. All we have to do here is press continue. Notice that the 3 steps are also replicated here on the left-hand side. And the one that's highlighted in blue is where we're currently at. So we're at campaign level. I'm not choosing any special ad category, so I can leave that blank. I've chosen traffic as my objective. I'm not going to run an A/B test within this, but let's just say if you had 2 versions of the ad and you want to see what worked better, you could A/B test them. And if you had more than one ad set, you can turn on campaign budget optimization. And that means whatever ad set's doing better over time, Facebook will give the greatest percentage of the budget to that. So it automatically optimizes for you. But for this campaign, I'm just going to go through and set up one campaign, one ad set level, and one ad level. Okay, so that's all we have to do at campaign level. At ad set level, then we decide where we want the traffic to go to. Do we want it to go to a website, an app, Messenger, or WhatsApp? So in this instance, I want it to go to the website. Do we want to create a dynamic creative? You might want to experiment with this if you so choose. So dynamic creative is where you upload a number of images and a number of headlines, and then Facebook will mix and match those and tell you what combination of imagery and headlines works best. If you have an offer like 20% off or buy one, get one free for a certain time frame, you can include the offer in your ad. So let's just say if I wanted to include an offer for my page, I can go here and create the offer as part of setting up the ad. So anything that will make your ad stand out or give customers more incentives to engage with the ad, all the better. I don't have an offer, so I'm not going to create one for this. But if you did, you can set it up. And then the next part is choosing your budget and your schedule. So you have an option here. You can set a daily budget or you can set a lifetime budget. Now, by default, lifetime budget always jumps there to 350. That's not actually an indication of how much you do need to spend on the ad. So if you were to start off with a daily budget of, say, even £5 per day, that should give you enough to work with to see if the campaign is working or not. And this is a point where people say, how much should I spend? What I would do before I get too locked or too concerned about budget would be go in and pull through my audience. So the next step here is choosing your audience. I notice you can actually create an audience at this point, but that's going to take up quite a bit of time and it's kind of distract me from the flow of creating the ad. So the ideal thing to do is either search your custom audiences that already exist and bring them in, or pull in your saved audience. So my saved audience, here's my demo audience of our healthy eaters. I'm going to bring them into the mix here, and I can see all of the options that I chosen earlier. And then now when I go back up to set my budget and my start date and my end date, it's actually working off this relevant audience. So if I set it at £5 per day, I can decide to run my ads from tomorrow at 8 a.m. And then I might decide to run that until the end of the month. So I might go run it for 2 whole weeks until the 30th at maybe 11 p.m. Okay, so I've got £5. I'm running it for 2 weeks. Over here, it's giving me my estimated daily results. Like if I change the amount that I spend, this little box is going to change. So if I decide to go with £10 per day, now my reach has increased. And every day I can reach anywhere between 1,600 and 4,700 people. And there's an estimated 43 to 132 link clicks. So when it comes down to it, the more budget that you can put in, the better results you're going to get. So if I was to put in like £100 a day, that shoots up to 15 to 43,000 people, 200 to 800 link clicks. So this is the estimated daily results. There's a bit of variance there because it hasn't seen our ad yet. So if we did a really good ad, the reach would be high. If our ad wasn't so great, the reach would be low. Okay, so as I have said there earlier, a £5 a day is like a good starting point. Most businesses could forego that if you think about it. Don't get your takeaway coffee or your snacks in the shop. Maybe, hold back on a couple of other things and put your budget into this. Like if you wanted to, you could go with a lifetime budget as another option. So if you wanted to go with your lifetime budget, you might say, well, I'm going to go with maybe like £50 over that time frame. And then this will update accordingly. And that means you're not going to spend more than your £50 budget. I'm a big fan of putting your start date and your end date so it controls the campaign and you don't forget about it and then get a bill at the end of the month. So as long as you control it in terms of your start and end date, then it should be fine. Okay, so we've done budget, we've done audience. Placements is our next choice. So here it says automatic placements recommended, but if you wanted to, you can go in and manually adjust. So by default, it's going to show your ad on Facebook, Instagram, Audience Network, and Messenger. Now, not all ads will show up in every single location. So for a traffic ad, it doesn't show on IGTV, it doesn't show on Messages, and it doesn't show on in-stream videos. But you can go through these placements and see what you're happy with or what you want to remove. Typically, if I'm promoting like really high quality goods or goods of high value, I then take off Facebook Marketplace because Marketplace is more so where people go for like a local bargain or a local service. So if I'm selling designer handbags, it's probably not going to be relevant in Marketplace. However, if I'm selling like costume jewelry, that probably is going to be relevant on Marketplace if it has the right fit. Other things then, stories, we can decide if this will show on Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger stories. Stories are really great platforms, so I would encourage that. What else have we got? Apps and sites, I'm a little bit more dubious about, and typically I do remove these from my campaigns. Apps and sites is where Facebook has bought advertising space in third-party apps and sites, so we've got no control over what these apps and sites are. So you could do a wee bit of damage limitation by unticking that box. However, if you really just wanted to focus on maximum reach, you might want to keep them in. For me, it doesn't really change the potential reach of the audience. No, it still says at 4.7 million. So I'm not really too concerned about whether it's in or out, but just for a bit of extra brand protection, I'm going to take it out. Okay, so optimization and delivery. We're optimizing for link clicks. Remember, it was a traffic campaign, so I want clicks to the site. I don't yet have an idea of what it will cost per click, so I'm not going to add a cost control. I want to run the campaign and then see what it turns out to be. And that's everything at the ad set level. So we're ready to go on to the next step, which is actually creating the ad itself. Okay, so ad name has come through here. Facebook page it's pulled through. Instagram account, I have my connected. I'm going to turn ad preview on. It's telling me that there's a link field required. We haven't even got around to building the ad, and already it's bringing up errors, typical Facebook. But as we start to move through here, we can decide what format we want the ad to be. So it could be a single image or a video, where you just have that one image or video. Carousel, I'm a big fan of, because you can add one or more scrollable images or videos. So you can have up to 10 images in one ad, or you can have a collection. Now, with a collection, you will need an instant experience in the background. And a collection also works with product-based ads. I don't have an instant experience here. It's kind of like a mobile experience. So I'm less likely to go with that. I'm more drawn to doing a carousel. And that's what I would recommend for anyone that's doing a traffic campaign, because you're giving people lots of reasons to click through. Okay, so with carousel, we can then move down and design all our carousel ads. So here it's telling us carousel cards. Card number 1, we need to select an image for. So this is where you can either pull in an image from your account. So any images that are already within your account, you can work with. So let's just say I wanted to go with this one. Okay, so this is going to be my image 1. I can then add my headline, description, and website URL. Now, earlier on, I was using the example of a healthy eating ebook. So I'll create the ad to complement that, but I'm really just showing you the functionality more than anything. Where possible, it's a really good idea to have your own images and video, because that obviously represents your brand. But if you're just starting up, or you've not really invested in your photography and videography, what you can do is get some really high quality and low cost stock images. And I really like Unsplash for that. So I'm just going to search for healthy eating here on Unsplash. That one looks quite nice. This also looks good. That's nice and colourful. Okay, so these are all photographs that have been submitted by photographers around the world. So you can use them in your content. You can give them a shout out and reference them, which is just a nice thing to do. And typically it's a good idea to tag them in your organic posts so people can see where you got the picture. But just to point out, it's not like a necessary requirement. So if you don't do it, like, you're not going to get fined for it or anything like that. Okay, so I've got some there that I've downloaded that I'm just going to work with in the ad itself. So for this, if you didn't have any in your account that you wanted to work with, you can easily upload a photograph from your device. So if I go in here, I can then choose one of these images that I've just sourced. And I'm going to start off with this one. It will upload it into my account, and then I can use it within my ad. Okay, so this is image 1. Then I add a headline. So I'm going to go make healthy eating easier. And then it could be download this new ebook. Okay, then we would put in the URLs where we want to take the person to. Like, I wouldn't take them just to the home page. I would take them to whatever that actual page is. Now, just to clarify, I haven't written an ebook on healthy eating. I'm just giving you this as an example, but you would include the correct URL that people could then click on to get to that resource. Okay, so this is what you would type in, you know, whatever that page URL is. Now, over here, it's freaking out about carousel links. So I'm just going to see what the problem is. There we go. It had HTTP instead of HTTPS. So basically here we start to see the ad taking shape, and my headline has come in over here, and then my description has come in down below. Now this is only card 1. what I'm going to do is create another card underneath. So you can have up to 10 cards. So card number 2, I'll go in and select my image for that. So let's choose another colorful picture. Go with this one. Okay, so this picture I purposely had chosen because it's taller than the square format. So what we can do is go in and edit that image if you wanted to change the focus. So here's the original, and then this is what the square looks like. But let's just say the focus of that image was really at the bottom. You can move that square anywhere across the image to get the right focus. But for me, that is right in the middle, which is fine. Now remember, not all placements are going to be square. We're going to run this across stories. So you can make sure you have the right focus there for the vertical placements. And then it's also going to come up in the likes of the news feed. So you want to make sure you've got the right placement there for the horizontal images. So I might decide to just bring in more peppers in that or whatever. So that one image can be edited for the different placements. And then for this second card, I'm going to also add a headline. You could do 20 quick recipes. And then great for lunches and dinner. Okay, and then again, the relevant link. So / ebook, etc., etc. And then I'm going to do a third card just to give you an idea how that works. But as I said, you can do up to 10. So that's really good for you to showcase all of the different elements about your product or service. And I would include in there as many attention grabbing images as possible. So like lots of different views of the product, possibly building one of the cards as a testimonial in Canva too, if you wanted to. Now for this one here for square, I actually want to focus more on that smoothie. And so I'm going to bring it across, and the same for vertical. No, that might be nice. And then this would be starters, meals, and snacks. Make a healthy change today. Okay, so let's just take a wee look at what we have so far. What we can do is preview our ad to date. So I'm going to just go in here and share a link. And this is really helpful if you also want to show the ad to like your colleagues or friends or family and just get their opinion before you've gone live with the ad. So I've just copied that link where I can preview the ad. Last night this didn't work. Earlier today it did. So who knows? It's gonna half work. This is what it would look like within the news feed, video feed, right-hand column. We'll just go in and choose the different ratio there. Inbox, within stories. Okay, we're just going and edit the format for this. So you get an idea of what the ad looks like in real life on those placements. So if you wanted to go back and like change some of your text, etc., you absolutely can. Right, I'm just going to come back out of this and go into the ad itself again. Okay, so one of these messenger stories. Okay, so the format in terms of like the carousel isn't available in messenger stories. Your ad won't run on Instagram because carousel ads in this placement must include 2 to 3. Oh, okay, so that is 1-to-1. So for your stories, it's looking for 2 to 3 full screen cards. Now let me just check what way this is working. Vertical. I'm just going to move our zoom buttons out of the way. I'm just going to go in and look at the Instagram stories placement itself because it was flagging up. There was a slight issue there. So what we can do is choose this as a placement. Now it is taking its time in terms of bringing it up. But if we go in and look at this particular placement, we should be able to change our crop. So it's showing up here just with the Instagram stories that there is an issue. But what we should be able to do is actually just select the vertical version for Instagram stories. So see the way our one with the peppers was actually vertical, but we were able to crop it for the likes of the carousel. That's normally the case, but it's not playing ball here at the minute. And it's not that it's a policy issue. Let me just see if it's going to go with that. It's thinking about it. This is a point where you might run into some issues in terms of having the right media in the right place. But the one thing you can do is go in and edit each placement. I'll probably go in and make sure that all three are accessible. I'll go in with this one. Yeah. That might have been the issue. Now we're in business, okay? So for Instagram stories here, it was telling me that the media wasn't supported, even though with each of the images we chosen a vertical image, but in the background, it looked like the second image hadn't chosen the vertical format for stories, it had chosen the horizontal. Why? I don't know. Sometimes Facebook does these crazy things, but by going in and looking at the placement itself, we can then see if there is an issue and then fix that. So now there's no longer an error against the Instagram stories. Also because with the stories, it's full screen, we were able to choose, that focus area for the full screen. So it is really colourful and vibrant there. So errors do occur. That's normally where people sort of panic a wee bit and think I've done something wrong. There, what we could see is that Instagram itself chose a horizontal image for a vertical format. Why? We don't know, but it did. Now, some of the placements just won't be compatible. So here for Facebook groups feed, creative customizations by placement are not compatible. And also for Messenger, we can't use a carousel within Messenger stories, but it's still going to run on Instagram stories and it's still going to run on Facebook stories. So I'm not overly worried about that. We still have got those placements available. Now let's see for InStream. InStream's video. So if it's not a video format, it's not going to run InStream because InStream is where a video would stop playing and then your ad would play, and that has to be a video for it to play. Okay, so at that point, if you need to edit a placement, you absolutely can do. Another setting that we have up here is automatically show the best performing cards first. So if there's no real important structure in terms of like you want them to view card 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4, you can mix and match. And that will mean that over time, Facebook and Instagram will show the highest performing card. So that's getting people's attention at the very, very beginning. Now, what you'll probably notice is that we don't actually have any text in this ad just yet. So primary text is missing, and this is a really important element. So when you've got your carousel together, you need to add text at the very top to tell people what your ad is about. So here I'm going to go download this free ebook with over 20 healthy recipes. Okay. So in reality here, the less text, the better, because as you see from this preview on mobile, you really only have the first two lines that come up. On the likes of, let's see if there's desktop. I'm still looking at that. Hold on a second. Okay, there's our desktop newsfeed. And we definitely get a bit more text visible there. So we can actually see all three lines in this, which is great. But remember what we were saying earlier about mobile users. Actually, with the mobile preview now, we can see three lines here. But anything beyond that is probably going to include a see more. So remember, your first couple of lines are the most important because that's what's visible. So include the most information, the most important information there. Another things you can do to really get people's attention would be the likes of adding emojis. So emojis are colourful. They do stand out. So I typically use Emojipedia. So if I wanted to do like knife and fork, I can go in and get the emoji for that and copy it across and then just quite simply paste that here into my primary text. And that's going to bring in the little emoji within my ad just to make it a wee bit more interesting or colourful. Things like stars and sparkles and ticks, etc., also work quite well. But you want to have it so it doesn't look like it's emoji central. Probably 2 emojis in your ad would be max. And then the other thing you can do now is add bold and italic text. So yeah, text is one of the tools that I use. It's a wee bit out there still. But what you can do is take your actual copy and make it either in bold or in italic. And you can do this for ads, but also for your own Facebook posts as well. So if I were to go with this one, bold sans, I can copy that. And here we are back here. I can actually pop that into my ad and it's all going to come up with bold text, which will obviously make it stand out more so than the likes of your competitors' ads. Now, you don't have to do all of your ad with bold text. I think it looks quite nice there. I might have done free ebook in bold and I might have done other ebits in italic. So you can experiment with that just to make it stand out, as I said, and get people's attention. The very last URL should also take people through to the page that you want to take them to. So that would be like a traffic, and that would be like your ebook page. So remember, this is where your traffic is going to go to. And then if you're just not sure what that page is, you can preview it. And you can also control the call to action button. So this one is currently set at learn more. And what you could do is press get access, because I talked about it being an ebook ad. So that's another relevant button. You can see how that looks on your ad. Okay, so there it says get access now instead of learn more. If you were selling a product, you would obviously include like shop now. If you're getting people to sign up to like a new membership or a new portal, you could have it as get as subscribe. What else might be relevant? Book now, contact us. Download would also be another one that's relevant for mine. Get offer, listen now. So there's loads to choose from. I don't think you'll be stuck when you're choosing your call to action button, and you can test out a few and see what works. But every one of your cards will have the same call to action button. You can't mix and match across the cards. Okay, so this is what the ad will look like. We would proof it again here by just going and generating the link. So we can share the link. Just going to do that once more. Okay, so for Facebook newsfeed, I see what it looks like. I'm going to have to go in and edit one of the placements there for the Instagram feed, because Again, it's sort of got a wee bit messed up in the background there, but it should be working. Facebook video feed, right-hand column. Probably going to have to go in and edit there for the Explore feed. It's just given me a few errors tonight, which is lovely. Stories, it's working okay. In-stream video, we can see what it would look like. Within marketplace search, that's what it would look like. Instant article placement. So you can really go through and proof with each of these placements. I'm just going to go in and fix Explore and Instagram feed before I would put that live. But if you're happy with what you see at that point, you'll want to make sure that within your account, your pixel is live. Now, I haven't got the live one there because I've only got the demo one. But at this point, you would be making sure your pixel was ticked. And then what you can do is go to publish. So once you press publish, I'm just going to go ahead and publish it to show you. It publishes, it says 1 of 3, 2 of 3, and 3 of 3, because it's publishing campaign, ad set, and then your ad itself. So it'll take just a minute or two to do that. Don't navigate away from that page while that is happening. And then it's saying that campaign, ad set, and ad were then published. So we can come out of this and then go back into the campaigns tab. And then what we should be able to see is this demo campaign is scheduled. I'm just going to get rid of that one. Okay, so our demo campaign is scheduled here. And that means that on the date and time that we chosen, which was tomorrow morning, then that campaign will go live and you're going to start to see results here for that campaign within your Facebook Business Manager. I'm going to leave that there if you have any specific questions about any of the steps, but I am going to delete it after the session so that you don't get these random ads from my page about a healthy eating book. So I'm going to leave it in there for now. But if you needed to go back and make changes, you can just tick the box, press your pen icon, and you can go down through all of the steps again that we've gone through and then make changes anywhere that you want to do that. So if you decided, actually, I think we can make our ad copy a little bit more catchy, you can come in and update it here. So you can update that, or you can change images within your cards, etc., if you wanted to improve it. And then if you do make a change, so let's just take this by way of an example. So if you make changes, the publish button then becomes green, and you'll need to publish any of those changes that you have made for that to go live. So we're just going to let that load up, and then I can press publish. And then because I've only changed the ad and not the entire campaign ad set and ad, it's publishing 1 of 1. And then when that's ready, those changes should go live. Okay, so that's how you can go in and create your ad from start to finish. I've screenshotted quite a few steps of that for you here within the slides that I'm going to share with you after tonight's workshop. So quite a lot of that is included. And there's also a guide here, and it's by way of a video that shows you all the different kinds of ads that you could run. Now, I'll just show it to you on screen because it's really, really helpful. Here we go. So this is a Facebook ads guide. It talks you through image ads, video ads, carousel ads, and then collection ads. Now, we didn't see these today because these are more so related to where you've got products. But if you wanted to learn more about a particular format, you can just click through. And this is where it will tell you when to use them, how to use them. And then also you should have a specification. I think it should be at the top here. So if I wanted to learn about carousel, it's then going to show me what that might look like in the Facebook feed, what that might look like within Instagram stories. So you can see what that placement will look like within these different placements itself. And then you have got like design recommendations, text recommendations, and technical requirements. So this is really like your ad hub. And if you're doing your ads for the first time or you just want to get more familiar, it's a really great resource. So I'll include this link within the materials that I send across.